Welcome back. Now, there was a time when if you had to get somewhere but didn't have directions, you could do one of three things. You could either A, read the address and use your Columbus-like skills and sense of manifest destiny and essentially wing it. Or you could use a map, but for that you'd need a compass and a few skills. Alternatively, and perish the thought, you could stop and ask for directions. But that was then when the world was young. Today, we have technology. And technology, as they say, changes everything. And today we have three individual GPS devices to play with. We're driving the BMW 320d and that's got its own inbuilt nav system, part of the iDrive. We've got a TomTom device that works as an aftermarket fitment to your car. And finally, the very widespread and ever-evolving Google Maps, accessible through this middle-of-the-line Android phone. Our plan is simple enough. Use all three GPS devices simultaneously to guide us to breakfast, one of Bombay's famous Irani restaurants called Kayani & Company, located in the old heritage heart of the city. We're going to be using three parameters while judging these devices: ease of input and operating system, accuracy and practicality. We've been up since 5 AM and now we're hungry.
500 meters, turn left. Turn left.
Turn right after quoting Mahindra Bank ATM.
Turn left in 200 meters.
Make a U-turn.
Right, so I've got all three devices working in tandem, which is a little odd because there's a cacophony of voices throwing directions at me. The TomTom device is speaking Indian version of English, whereas the BMW's in-house nav system, well as the Google nav system, are both speaking in very strange, disembodied European voices.
80 meters. After 80 meters, make a U-turn. Turn
Now
left.
turn
Pay
right.
right.
Now the route that we've decided to travel today isn't very far from the office. It's about 8 odd kilometers or so. The reason we picked this restaurant was because it's got 5 alternative routes. And we're also going to be passing through some of the underbelly of Bombay.
Now turn left.
I did not have the correct postal address of the restaurant that we were going to, which is Kayani & Company. I only had the name because honestly, who knows these things? So I looked for the restaurant as per points of interest. Now, as far as inputting addresses were concerned, using Google Maps over the phone was the quickest because it's easiest to use, it's right in your hand, plus it's intuitive, so the address pretty much auto-fills. On the other hand, the TomTom device was the second easiest. Of course, the very rudimentary touch screen does make it seem a little weird. Now, using the BMW's 320d iDrive was the most difficult to input information because you only have the rotary dial.
Turn right.
Now, I have purposely at times ignored the instructions given to me by my nav devices just to spook them out. It's pretty funny because the TomTom device gets the most frantic. I missed a turn just now and she's practically yelling at me, make a U-turn, make a U-turn, you can hear her. Now, considering that your inbuilt navigation system will use some sort of rotary dial or a rudimentary touchscreen system to input your address, it's going to be quite cumbersome. On the other hand, there's also the question of the validity and the updating of the maps, considering that in cities things change a lot. Roads become one-ways, roads are shut down due to festivals or diverted for some or the other reason. Now, the only advantage that your TomTom device has over Google Maps is that it does not need a network connection, which is what Google needs. Though, of course, with Google, if you are organized enough, you can pre-select and pre-store routes to be used offline. Also, with the TomTom, the display is nice and large, plus it's also pretty loud, so you can hear it over the sound of your music. On the other hand, with your phone, it's pretty soft, so if you are driving with navigation on and turn-by-turn directions, you have to turn all your audio off.
Please turn half left in 200 meters.
On the other hand, you will have a smartphone and most operating devices nowadays will use Google Maps. Now, what we've learned from this short yet rather illuminating drive is that if you have an inbuilt navigation system in your car, that's great, it's very helpful as long as you keep updating. However, if you are going to pay extra for a navigational package, it does not make any sense because you can just use your smartphone and you're only going to have to buy a suction mount and a car charger to keep it juiced. Like we said earlier, fixed mapping systems like TomTom or Garmin are on their way out. I honestly believe that devices like the TomTom Navigator or devices from other companies like Garmin will become obsolete. They'll start becoming mapping companies rather than actually providing the hardware, because that will be either in your car or in your phone.
Reached your destination.
And here we are.